My husband and I are the parents of two beautiful children. Our daughter is 25 years old and our son is 21. Both of our children are adopted from foster care. Our daughter was 2 years old when she came into our home, and our son was 11 weeks old. As parents, my husband and my main goal was always to make sure our children grew up into good people and felt loved and supported by us through all the stages of their lives. Our daughter is now married to a wonderful man, Taylor, and they just had their first child together. I had a bit of a run-in with my daughter's mother-in-law at the hospital when we went to visit. My daughter's mother-in-law and father-in-law have always struck me as somewhat arrogant, and my husband and I have both felt like they have made jabs at the fact that my husband and I were older parents. Taylor's parents had him when they were 18, and they are grandparents at 43 now. Apparently, this is something that makes them superior to my husband and me as grandparents, according to Taylor's mom. This all started when we were invited to come meet the baby and see Taylor and our daughter. My husband and I first went to check on how our daughter was doing, and if she needed anything, Taylor's parents went straight for the baby. When we were leaving, my husband went to use the restroom, and Taylor's mom followed me and suggested that I was some grandparent when I showed no enthusiasm to meet my grandson. I asked what she meant by that, and she said I ignored him for the first 10 minutes. I corrected her and said I did not ignore my grandson. I checked on my baby first because childbirth can be difficult. She asked how I would know that and then said it must be my age that makes me less interested in grandbabies. I was shocked as this was the most blatant insult she had directed my way. She then said that she and her husband will be the beloved grandparents because they're young enough to run around with our grandson and play with him without breaking a hip or destroying their backs. I told her she knew nothing about me to say this. She said clearly being old parents came with the disadvantage of being old grandparents, and that would not be fun for a child. I told her I would rather be an older grandparent than trying to be a grandparent while still behaving like a child myself. She was furious, and I felt bad immediately because I only inflated the problem. My husband and I left, and he suggested we should speak to Taylor in case his mother twisted things. I didn't want to interrupt their first day as a family of 3, so I waited for a couple of days. At that point, Taylor knew something was up with his mom. We talked, and he told me not to worry about it. He apologized for his mom and asked if his parents had been like that with us previously. His mother, however, has said I declared a grandparent war and that I am clearly looking down my nose at her for being a teenage mother. Am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. And seriously, don't feel bad. She deserved way more than that. That audacity. Whoa! But don't worry, you'll probably turn out to be the preferred grandparents. If Taylor is a wonderful man, and I can only imagine your daughter is too, the kids are going to turn out good too. And kids see through the kind of poop this lady is putting forward. Don't worry, you might have made it a bit worse. But with her personality, it would only have been a matter of time before she pulled another stunt. You guys would have come to blows at some point, I bet. And there's no honor in being the bigger person all the way while being trashed. You need to push back when you meet a bully, and that's what you did. The jab you took at her personality is nothing compared to what she threw at you. Comment 2. Not the idiot. This honestly hurts my heart because I can tell that you and your husband are very sweet and wonderful people, parents and grandparents. Not only did she make many rude comments about your age, but she also made a really stupid jab at you being an adoptive asterisk parent, like it's some sort of secret childbirth is difficult. WTF, I'm sorry you had to deal with this. Honestly though, a lot of the grandparents who behave like this are really only interested in the image of being a grandparent and the social media photo op. I hope not, for your daughter and grandbaby's sake, but it's common. Comment 3. Not the idiot. There is no correct way to approach someone who has just given birth. There are too many things to worry about. GT. Apparently this is something that makes them superior to my husband and me as grandparents, according to Taylor's mom. No, it just means they don't use protection. I'm sure you will win the grandparent war, and you will be a wonderful grandparent for years to come. Don't worry about being older parents. My parents are 60 plus, and they have still told us they are not ready to be a grandparent yet. Now, for the next story. I talked to my nephew. This isn't an issue anymore. He wants to take over. We are going to switch the order. He will take care of sister and get the inheritance. Now my son doesn't have to choose. Hello, My nephew is helping me with this. I am 56 years old and just finalizing my will. I have 2 children, Jack and Marge. Marge is disabled and can't look after herself. My wife and I take care of her at the moment. Our biggest worry is that when we die, she will not be taken care of. Our family has a good amount of money. It is enough that you could probably get by without working for the rest of your life and still have money left over. We are very fortunate and just got lucky for a lot of things. We bought cheap houses long ago and now they're worth a ton due to the location. We made our will, and Jack only gets the money if he takes care of her. If he doesn't get the money. And it will go to my nephew who has the same condition. We have a few other backups, but I know my nephew would do it if my son didn't. It came up today asking what will happen to Marge when we die, and I explained since I didn't want to lie and have it be a shock when we are dead. My son is pissed, and the family is split, so I came here. Yes, we looked into a trust. It's not a safe option. There is a huge chance the money can be taken for her due to the laws surrounding it. We are not in the USA. We talked to multiple lawyers. This is the saddest option for her. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Wow, you're so much the idiot and are completely and utterly oblivious. Your poor son is nothing to you, and you're the idiot. 1. The reason to leave him some asterisk of your estate is that he's your son and you love him, not because he's an indentured worker taking on a lifetime of responsibility for his sister. 2. He did not sign up for being a parent of a disabled person at any point. He is not a parent. He has his own life to build, one that would be made exponentially more difficult if he was responsible for another human, disabled or not. When you became a parent, you decided to do that. Whether he has or hasn't become a parent yet, this is his choice to take on or not. 3. You are using your will as a bargaining chip and are being manipulative. That is a testament to your character. 4. He has to earn his part of the will, but your daughter doesn't. Had they both been able, would you have not split the money? Is the point of all this money to only improve one of your kids' quality of life? How utterly heartbreaking for your son, knowing his father thinks he is worth less than his sister. If you want to salvage your relationship with him, maybe talk to him about what you plan for your daughter and how he might help with transitioning her into a care plan once you're gone. I imagine they will have no issue at all doing this for a known period when the time comes. Use your money to set up a trust to ensure both your kids have good lives once you're gone. Don't sacrifice one for the other. Comment 2. You're the idiot. It is not his responsibility to look after his sister. It is your responsibility to seek out proper care for her prior to you passing without forcing it upon family and put that in the will. For the record, people who are forced into caring for those who are disabled that have no interest in doing so are likely to get extremely stressed, depressed, and it can lead to them neglecting the disabled person. Before I get any flack for this, I am disabled and need some level of help with personal care. I am also the mother of a child who has disabilities. Editing to add, I use the word forced for a reason. While not being held at knife point, he is being given an ultimatum with no middle ground. Look after her or no inheritance. Comment 3. You're the idiot, and frankly, if your money comes with conditions that are tantamount to emotional blackmail, I'd tell you to keep your money. I also would be keeping you at arm's length in the future. Not because you weren't giving me money, that's your choice, but because you thought it was okay to try and control my future in that way, and that I could be bought. Now, for the next story. My brother Jack has a 15-year-old daughter named Joy. Recently, he got married to Anna, who has a 16-year-old son named Lee. They live in a 2-bedroom house. The second room previously belonged to Joy, but once they got married, she had to share with Lee. After a while, Anna convinced Jack to let Joy's mom get custody because the room situation was uncomfortable and Lee didn't have a dad to go to. Slowly, they took the bedroom away from Joy and reduced the custody to every other weekend. Joy's mom is abusive, and I would never let Joy go there, so instead of living with her mom, she moved in with me. Needless to say, she was devastated that her family basically kicked her out. She is currently in therapy. Because of her situation, my siblings and I have been pretty much spoiling her, showering her with gifts, and taking her on multiple trips. A few days ago, Jack called to tell me that Lee is feeling left out and asked if we could include him sometimes because he has no family to do these things for him. I got so angry I told him that I don't give a poop that Lee is feeling left out. He is not my brother, and therefore Lee is not my nephew, and he still doesn't have a family to do these things for him. Nothing has changed. We will never be his family. He called me an idiot and ended the call. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. What your brother did was absolutely disgusting. Surely there must have been some other way to arrange the house so two opposite gender teenagers didn't have to share a room. Or they could have moved, asterisk. This was a foreseeable problem, asterisk, and he dealt with it in the most deplorable way possible, sending his daughter away. And now he has the gall to complain that his stepson doesn't feel like he's family? Well, no poop, Sherlock. He isn't. It sucks for Lee, too. I think he is likely innocent in this, unless he asked his mother to get rid of Joy. He's a kid, albeit a teenager, and not a small child devoid of understanding. It's not his fault he doesn't have family, but he also doesn't get to glom onto his stepfather's family, especially when stepdad did such an awful thing. Comment 2. So Anna marries your brother, moves into his home with her son Lee, takes over Joy's room, and tries to pawn her off to her abusive mother. What kind of fuckery is this? At that age, boys and girls need to have their own rooms, space, and privacy. If they can't afford it, they shouldn't be cohabitating. Also, OP's brother seems to be a failure of a father for abandoning Joy like that. I commend you for stepping up where her father clearly will not. NTA. Now that he has effectively abandoned his daughter and has a do-over son, he can lavish him in all the attention he wants. He has no right to demand Lee be spoiled, rotten, after kicking Joy out of her own home. His priorities are messed up. My choice of words for Anna wouldn't be appropriate for this sub. Comment 3. So Anna moves in and convinces Jack to kick out his daughter and send her to his toxic ex. Then he has the audacity to ask you to consider Lee's feelings? The audacity of your brother is stunning, and your sister-in-law puts the evil in evil stepmother. Good for you for telling him he's dead to you. You're an angel for taking in Joy. I hope with therapy and the love she's finally surrounded with, she can heal. Now, for the next story. I, 20-year-old male, have a cousin Michelle, 13-year-old female, who will do or say anything for attention. She makes serious accusations. It becomes a huge thing. The lies fall apart after some investigation. And then Michelle will finally tell the truth, that she made it all up. My aunt, 44-year-old female, and uncle, 50-year-old male, are partly to blame, in my opinion. They both say they're present since they work from home. But they're in the medical field and also constantly doing stuff for their side business, so they really aren't there for Michelle as much as they assume they are. Anyway, last week my grandma had to go to the hospital. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but my aunt and uncle said that the hospital had a policy that only allowed 2 visitors per patient in that specific section. They begged me to watch Michelle since they think she's too young to be home alone overnight, and they don't trust a stranger to be alone with her that long. My other aunt, uncle, and cousins who I live with were out of town, by the way. That's why they asked me. Gabrai, I immediately told them no and refused to even think about it. I have a strict personal rule to never be alone with Michelle because, especially as a guy, I don't want to be accused of anything. My aunt ended up staying home with Michelle. My aunt and uncle both sent me a long text last night saying that they were extremely disappointed in me. They already took so much time off work, and I caused even more stress because my aunt wasn't able to be with her mom when she needed her. Now I feel terrible. Am I the idiot? Edit answering a common question. I'm not sure why my uncle didn't stay home with Michelle so my aunt could be at the hospital with my grandma. I feel like if I ask them now, they're going to think that I'm criticizing them, so it's not worth it for me to ask and possibly cause any more issues. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. N and GT. I caused even more stress because my aunt wasn't able to be with her mom when she needed her. No, the 2 geniuses decided that the parent that should stay home be the one that isn't related to the person in the hospital. What kind of sense does that make? Oh, right, none. What a dumb decision. And what, they were going to be in the hospital for days? If they both had to go and someone had to stay overnight, then take everyone for the visit and one of them come home with the kid. Comment 2. Not the idiot in GT. My aunt and uncle said that the hospital had a policy that only allowed 2 visitors per patient in that specific section, NGT. They begged me to watch Michelle since they think she's too young to be home alone overnight hash, so only one of them visits at a time. 2 visitors is a maximum, not a minimum. There is no actual problem to be solved here. Comment 3. not the idiot. Stay away from that disaster waiting to happen. The wrong lie from her can put you into prison and on the sex offender list. Her recanting her lies won't help. Your life will already be ruined. Refuse to be alone with her. Keep that boundary up for your own safety. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.